Okay, imagine this for a second. The production dashboard, it's just a solid wall of red. Systems are buckling under the load, an outage is about to happen, and every single second is costing thousands of dollars. The alerts are just screaming.
And here's the truly insane part. The company has everything going for it, right? Money in the bank, users hammering the service, massive demand. All they need to do is ship one critical fix. That's it. But they can't. The team is paralyzed.
Because the terrifying truth is, there's no one left who actually understands how the system works. This isn't a technology failure. Oh no, it is a catastrophic breakdown of the human talent pipeline. And believe me, it is already happening.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because we need to talk about it. We are going to uncover the hidden collapse that is happening right now in software development. We'll see how AI's incredible productivity gains are creating this unseen crisis that could literally bring the entire industry to its knees.
And right up front, I have to say, if you're a developer, this directly impacts your career. So please, share this with other engineers who need to understand what's coming. And make sure you're subscribed to Lalit Official, because we are absolutely going to be covering how to navigate these changes.
All right, let's get right into the problem. I mean, we are living through this unbelievable boom in AI-assisted development, right? Building APIs, writing schemas, all that boilerplate code, it's all happening faster than ever. But this speed has a hidden casualty.
And this is the first shockwave, a 60% drop. I mean, just think about that. Between 2022 and 2024, entry-level developer job postings collapsed by 60%. Companies are quietly replacing the work that juniors used to do with AI tools, and they think they're just cutting costs. But in reality, they're cutting off their own future.
So what's really happening here is a massive structural shift. The industry is transforming into what economists call a barbell economy, and it is completely reshaping what a software career looks like from the ground up.
So here's the crucial point. The market is splitting into two extremes. On one end, you have people who can basically just prompt a working prototype into existence. We can call them AI orchestrators. And then on the other, way out there extreme, you have the elites, high-skilled system architects. So what about the middle? You know, the traditional mid-level developer roles that have always been the backbone of the industry? Well, they're being hollowed out.
And you can see exactly how these effects just compound. The elite senior engineers, their compensation is skyrocketing, like 10 to 20% a year, because their leverage is just multiplied. Meanwhile, that routine mid-level coding that used to be the training ground, it's becoming a commodity. So the result is, the traditional path from junior to senior is literally breaking. Companies want these leaner, more senior teams. It's a massive profession-wide coordination problem. Everybody is optimizing for their own short-term gain, and collectively, we are wrecking the very pipeline we all depend on.
And the specific practice that's accelerating this whole collapse, it actually has a name. It's called vibe coding. And listen, while it feels like magic in the short term, its hidden costs are just staggering. The AI expert Andrej Karpathy described it perfectly. He said it's a state where you forget that the code even exists, and you just see stuff, say stuff, run stuff. You're basically prioritizing the high-level vibe of what you want to build, and you just let the AI handle all the details. It's all about speed and iteration, not architectural planning. Sounds great, right? But it is a massive trap.
This table really lays out the critical distinction. You see, in structured AI-assisted engineering, the human owns the design and the quality bar. The AI operates within clear constraints. But with vibe coding, that ownership just gets quietly outsourced to the AI. Architectural calls are made by default, not by design. The goal shifts from long-term stability and resilience to just rapid iteration, getting a proof of concept out the door.
And this leads to a terrifying new form of technical debt. We call it comprehension debt. The system works, sure, for now. But the team, they can't actually explain why it works. They have built something that exceeds their own expertise, creating this incredibly fragile dependency on AI for any future maintenance or debugging.
And the data here is just brutal. I mean, look at this. Research from firms like GitClear, OX Security, and Pharos AI shows the real-world damage. Code duplication has quadrupled. Critical security flaws are up over 300%. And all that AI-generated code, it has to be reviewed, which is bloating review times by 91% and creating huge bottlenecks. So much for productivity, right? It's a mirage.
Okay, if you're understanding the sheer depth of this problem, hit that like button and comment vibe coding down below. It's a signal that you see the hidden costs behind the hype, okay? You with me? Good.
Now, let's pivot and talk about the solution. The key here is absolutely not to abandon AI. It's to redefine our relationship with it. We need a new playbook, one where senior engineers step up to be architects and guardians of quality, not just faster coders.
So this is basically the new playbook, the new rules. 1. Architecture first, AI second. You design the system before you let the AI write a single line of code. 2. You build and strengthen your tests to act as guardrails before you scale up AI. 3. You have to review AI-heavy changes differently, like architectural reviews, not simple syntax checks. And 4, and this is maybe the most important one, you have to mentor differently.
Look, old mentorship was about syntax, bug fixes, and reviewing code. That's done. New mentorship, it's about teaching someone how to reason. You're reviewing their prompts to understand their thinking. You're coaching them on how to critically assess AI output. Your job is to build systemic awareness, not just implementation skills. The goal shifts from just writing code to validating reason.
Okay, let's bring this home for you. What does this all mean for your career's next move? How do you position yourself on the right side of that barbell economy?
Your value is no longer measured in lines of code. It's measured in the complexity of the problems you can solve. You have to become a systems thinker, an expert in architectural reasoning. You need deep debugging skills. Your job becomes AI orchestration and validation, prompt engineering and strategic problem solving, not just implementation. This right here, this is the new baseline for a successful engineering career.
Okay, so let's zoom out one last time and look at the long-term stakes. Because if we don't manage this shift intentionally, if we aren't deliberate about this transformation, the consequences are predictable and they are severe.
We are in the junior elimination phase right now. That's happening as we speak. But what follows is a mid-level gap, because the cohort of engineers that should have been learning, well, they were never hired. They're just missing. By the early 2030s, that leads to a critical shortage of senior developers. And by 2035, we could hit a full-on institutional knowledge crisis, where our most complex systems become these unmaintainable black boxes, because the generation that built them is simply gone.
And so that leaves us with this one final critical question. Look, the transformation is happening. That is not up for debate. The only question is whether we, as an entire industry, will take control and manage this transformation deliberately, or if we're just going to let it happen to us and be left to deal with the collapse when it's already far too late.